Okay, so I have kind of a variety of tips today. I didn't really stick with any one theme, so I mostly tried to use several different tools that I use quite a bit in my own work. So I'm purposely not putting this in slideshow mode because I'm going to jump out of it a little bit here and there to give you a couple demonstrations because some of them are easier to show than to explain. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is WinMerge, which some of you have probably heard of. It's a free open source tool. There are other tools that are similar to it that you can pay for, like Beyond Compare, but I use WinMerge here, which you really use to compare different files and folders. If you're wondering if something has changes in one folder but not in another. Now, this seems like something that wouldn't be that critical, but there aren't an awful lot of situations where you would need it. But I am constantly surprised at how often I come across a situation where someone has maybe accidentally duplicated a folder and then doesn't remember which folder that they've been updating in, and they don't want to search through everything to find out which one. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of it real quick. In WinMerge, you just go to Open, and I already have two folders right here, so this is just an example that if possibly I had accidentally duplicated a folder. Okay, and then it will show us right here all the files that are in here and if there are any that are different, and there is one. So once you find the one that is different, you can, if you don't know which folder is the right one, you can choose to open left. So let's open the left folder real quick and see what it says. Merging folders is awesome. Okay, so let's look at the right one too, just to check. And merging folders is really awesome. So let's say we want to keep that. So we want the right one to be accurate. So we choose to just copy the left into the right, like that, and now they're all the same. So again, one of those things that seems like it wouldn't come up that much, but I am constantly surprised at how often I actually use that. My next one is a snipping tool, and this one is actually built into Windows 7, so I'm sure that many of you have used it before, but I have noticed that occasionally when I bring it up, some people have not used it before. So the snipping tool is really just a super fast, really easy screenshot tool. We still have a lot of people in our office who use print screen and then paste it into a Word document, and I always try to tell them that there's a much easier way to do that. You can just go into Snipping Tool, which is built right into Windows 7, like I said, and you can just choose a part of your screen that you want to snip and just save it like that, and it just shows right up as an image. So it's just a really quick way to do that. I don't know if any of you folks do tech support for your programs. I do occasionally do some tech support in our offices, and explaining to people how the snipping tool works really, really helps because they can just take a nice little snip of an error that they get and send me an email. So it's nice and quick and easy. I want to talk a little bit about password tips too. This is one of those things that I feel like has obviously been discussed before, but it's also a good thing to always bring up and keep fresh in people's minds. The first one is really to make it something that you can remember without writing down. I know that this seems so commonplace these days, but I am still amazed at how many people write down their passwords and have them next to their computers. You know, people love to talk about sort of system security. Well, the biggest threat to system security is people writing down their passwords and not using good password practices. I also, you know, this one is sort of my thing that I know that not everybody does, but my new suggestion is to not auto-save passwords in your browser. And I know that this is blasphemous for some people because it's the only way that they can do it, and they auto-save all the usernames and passwords. But let me tell you, you know, when everything crashes and you don't have those and you realize that you don't actually know any of your passwords, it can be a bit of a challenge. And I actually lost all of my autosaves in my personal computer a few months ago, and ever since then my new rule is to just not autosave anything, because then that way you have to type it in each time you use it, so it keeps it fresh in your mind and it keeps sort of the muscle memory from typing it in, and it really can be helpful if you have a lot of passwords. Also, not to use common names in words. Obviously that's sort of a fairly easy one, but they are really just a lot easier for cracking software. Try something that's unique to you, sort of a combination of words or phrases that is something that you will be able to remember that is not obviously dog or just something that's really easy for people to figure out. Also, don't use common keyboard letter combinations, sort of the ASDF. I'm always surprised at how many of those I see occasionally. The just those 4 keys that you can hit right next to each other. So try to avoid using that. And to change your passwords often. I know that this one's a huge pain in the butt, but it really does help. And it's really important to keep your passwords changed. I know that some places require that staff change their passwords every 6 months. I don't know how prevalent that is in the legal aid community, but I know that that is common in some situations. And I'm pretty sure that our staff would not be very happy with me if I made them change their passwords every 6 months, but it is good practice. And lastly, there's this tool called Password Savvy that I found that I just thought was kind of neat if anybody ever wanted to kind of play with it. You just put 2 words in here, and it sort of gives you a little play-by-play of the easiest way to make it a more complicated password. And again, the benefit of making your password complicated by using 3s for E's and things like that is that it becomes a lot more difficult to be hacked with hacking software. The word feet would probably be pretty easy to figure out, but the word feet with a 3 in it is a little bit harder. So you can put your own 2 words in or get new words. But I just thought that was kind of a neat tool if you were interested in learning how to make that more complicated. Next I have printing to PDF in Outlook. Again, this is one that really is helpful sometimes for if you have sort of a large number of emails that you need to send to somebody who cannot open a PST file and you use Outlook and they don't, or some sort of situation like that, you can choose to print them to PDF. I'll show you in my email right now. So we'll just highlight a couple of these listserv emails here. I can then choose to print them. And from my drop-down menu, choose the XPS document writer. This is the part where everybody thinks that they're really going to print out like 80 pages of emails, but I promise you it won't. You then have to choose where you want it to go, so I'll just save it to my desktop for now. And then we get a nice, neat little PDF of all of those emails. So that's a nice, easy way to do that if you need to send people a large number of emails. Let's see what we have next. So fences. Now this one is a tool that we actually discovered here at CLS sort of as a joke because we have so many people who have really horrendously disorganized desktops. Now I am going to show you guys my desktop, and I apologize in advance for any of the real organized people out there who may just have a fit at seeing it. So just bear with me and I'll show it to you and I can explain how Fences works. So here's my desktop. I have one fence over here that you can see, and I'm going to make another one for the sake of this presentation. Basically, you just right-click and drag in an area, create new fence, and we'll just call this Docs. And then I can take all of these, put them in there, and you get a nice little scroll bar, so it makes everything look neat and tidy. Now, of course, you could, be very efficient and put everything in folders, but if that's just not the way that you operate and you happen to have a million things saved on your desktop, you can just make these neat little fences. It just makes everything look neater. You can change the size and move them around. And I absolutely love it, if not anything else, because I have so many programs that I work in that it's nice to have them all organized in this neat little fence over here. So again, I apologize for the horribly disorganized desktop if that's a problem for anyone. Next, Format Factory. I think there's a couple other people out there in the community who used Format Factory. I think it's just incredible. It's a file type conversion program. It's especially great if you work with a lot of audio and video files. I make a lot of videos for our website, and it's just really helpful because there's having it in different formats can really help So I guess you can kind of just see the pictures ones here that you can change it to. But if you go up to audio or video, there's all different kinds of formats. And you can change the output also to change the size of a picture or of a video. We actually used this recently on our Facebook page because I don't know if you've noticed, but if you make an event now, the banner page can only be a certain size on Facebook's new sort of like cover page. So this really helps because you can resize pictures, you can change the format. So it's a pretty useful tool, and I actually get a lot of use out of it, and it is free. They update pretty frequently, so it's usually pretty bug-free. It was a little buggy at first, but the newer versions of it seem to work pretty well. So I love it. I think it's a great program. The next one is Unshorten It. If you have a skeptical shortened URL, Liz talked earlier about Google's URL shortener. I'm sure lots of you have also used Bitly or tinyURL. I feel like I'm constantly telling my staff to be skeptical of sort of a junk email and things like that. And so because of that, I get a lot of questions about a link being skeptical. So I'll go and sort of just give you an example. I have one saved over here. So you can just go to Unshorten It, paste it in here, and it will find exactly what it is. So it tells us that this is a Colorado State Judicial Branch forms. It even gives us some ratings here on trustworthiness based on just sort of other rating programs around the web. You even get sort of a little called the page peekers, a little preview here of what the page is. So I really like this one, and I've actually sent this out as a tech tip to our staff here just because it can sort of be a little skeptical sometimes of those shortened URLs. So that is a very good one too. Toggle timekeeping. I know that everybody has sort of a different method for keeping time. We keep time in our case management system, but typically it's easier. I enjoy using the toggle timekeeping tool because it's much easier over the course of my day to just save time in Toggle, and then I can enter all of my time into our case management system later on. It's nice because you get this great little, I actually have it running so I can show you. So we're in the Tech Tips presentation right now. It stays running until I stop it, and then I can choose to enter a new time entry. And it also saves it on an account on their website, just on toggle.com. So you can go in and you can actually print out reports, which is really nice. Sometimes I have a tendency to occasionally get really far behind in my timekeeping in our case management software, but by having all of my timekeeping saved in Toggle, it takes me maybe 5 minutes to enter it all in because I just keep it all saved there. And that's, again, another free tool. I also included 7-Zip on here. 7-Zip is just a free zip file extractor and a zipper. It also zips things. It's a free open source program. It's very easy to use. I really like it. I've put it on most of our newer computers because it's pretty intuitive and it's very easy for people to use, and it's a very reliable program. So 7-Zip is definitely helpful if you're looking for a file extractor or a file zipper. My last one is drawing in Firefox. Now I insist that this seems like it would just be for fun, but hold on, the chat thing is showing up, so let me click it. Anyway, this is just an add-in in Firefox, and it makes this little toolbar down here at the bottom, and I can click on this and then choose how I want to draw on the screen. I can draw an arrow or something like that, or write text or whatever we want. Now, this actually, I have actually used this before because I give lots of presentations on our website. I go to libraries and things like that and teach people about what we have available on our website. And that's something that I don't really like to do in PowerPoint because it's kind of difficult to explain a website to someone in PowerPoint. It's a lot easier to just show them the website. So it's kind of nice to be able to use this. You can change the color and then circle what you're talking about. and it just makes it a lot easier. You can then click the clear button down here to clear it all out, or you can actually save a screenshot of what you've taken if you want to save it for other purposes by just clicking the save button. And when you're done with it, you just click the little icon again and it goes away. So it's one of those tools that you can just kind of leave on there and not have to worry about too much. So those are all of my tips. If anyone has any questions, and in the meantime, I'll hand it off to Anna.